सिद्धांत गोस्वामी महाराज प्रभुपाद की, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की, नामाचार्य श्रील हरिदास ठाकुर की, प्रेम से कहो जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंद की, ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की, श्री श्री राधा गोपीनाथ भगवान की, निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे. All glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories, all glories, all glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna everyone. Welcome to morning Bhagavatam class in the divine abode of dear Lordship Sri Sri Radha Gopinath. I think today is the New Year Eve, last day of 2025. So today we are going to discuss on Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th canto, 25th chapter, the characteristics of King Puranjana. Verse number 7. Let's chant the verse. Please repeat after me. Nārada uvaca Bho prajapate rajan pasun pasya toya dhare sangya pitan jiva sanghan nigrinena sahasrasa. Nārada uvaca Bho prajapate rajan pasun pasya toya dhare samgya pitan jiva sanghan nirgrinena sahasrasa. Nārada uvaca Bho prajapate rajan pasun pasya toya dhare samgya pitan jiva sanghan nirgrinena sahasrasa. Prabhuji, please. Mataji's, please. Alright. So, word to word translation. Please repeat after me. Nārada uvacha. The great sage Nārada replied. Bho bho. Hello. Prajapate. O ruler of the citizens. Rajan. O king. Pasun. Animals. Pasya. Please see. Toya. By you. Advare. In the sacrifice. Samgapitan. Killed. Jiva Sanghan. Groups of animals. Nirgrinena. Without pity. Sahasrasa. In thousands. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Translation. The great saint Nārada said, O ruler of the citizens, my dear king, please see in the sky those animals which you have sacrificed without compassion and without mercy in the sacrificial arena. Purport. Because animal sacrifice is recommended in the Vedas, there are animal sacrifices in almost all religious rituals. However, one should not be satisfied simply by killing animals according to the directions of the scriptures. One should transcend the ritualistic ceremonies and try to understand the actual truth, the purpose of life. Nārada Muni wanted to instruct the king about the real purpose of life and invoke a spirit of renunciation in his heart. Knowledge and the spirit of renunciation, Jnana Vairagya, are the ultimate goal of life. Without knowledge, one cannot become detached from material enjoyment. And without being detached from material enjoyment, one cannot make spiritual advancement. Karmis are generally engaged in sense gratification, and for this end they are prepared to commit so many sinful activities. Animal sacrifice is but one such sinful activity. Consequently, by his mystic power, Nārada Muni showed the king Prachina Barishat the dead animals which he had sacrificed. Let's do Mangalacharan. Om Ajnano Timirandhasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chachur Unmritam Mena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Ena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kodamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamsa Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakhan Vitamsa He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesa Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindabaneswari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Pancha Kalpatarvyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा। I will read the translation once again. The great saint Nārada said, O ruler of the citizens, my dear king, please see in the sky those animals which you have sacrificed without compassion and without mercy in the sacrificial arena. Hare Krishna. So, we came to this verse on the way when Nārada Muni is trying to teach the principles of devotional service to King Prachina Barishat. King Prachina Barishat, he had the tensions, prachetas, when they were instructed by him to go to the forest to to perform austerities and penances, so that they understand the purpose of life first. And they were guided by Lord Shiva, and they were practicing devotional service. At that time, Nārada Muni, out of compassion to the King Prachina Barishat, who was very pious king, who used to perform sacrifices, yagyas, so many sacrifices to please demigods and get material benedictions. Material benedictions means trying to get on money, trying to or asking for benediction for comfort, in somehow or other, trying to elevate oneself materially. Materially means the way we can see. Like the difference between spiritual and material benedictions or position is that we can see material position by seeing or reading about someone. But spiritual position, unless that particular person opens up himself or herself, we cannot understand them. That is the difference in material and spiritual position. So we can easily see material position. So these days, in Kali Yuga, so our purpose is to show up. We look at what we can see externally. So everything we are focused on developing is something external, so that other will appreciate us seeing our external prosperity. That is the goal. In the same way, King Prachina Barishat also, as a king, definitely he has to take care of so many citizens, and as a ritual he is performing sacrifices, so many sacrifices. Actually, Nārada Muni is saying all these animal sacrifices, they are actually, Prabhupada is saying in the purport, they are recommended in the Vedas. It's not like he did something out of nowhere. They were recommended in the Vedas. Sacrifices, not like just simply killing and eating, but by sacrificing them in front of the altar of Goddess Kali. Normally it is recommended for Goddess Kali, and after offering to her, only on the Amasya of which comes once in a month, on the what day do we call dark moon day? On the dark moon day only, on that particular day only, which comes once in a month, it is allowed to perform the animal sacrifice, and Even those who cannot stop themselves or restrict themselves from eating meat, it is recommended like that. But nowadays, like slaughterhouse is very normal, and everyday meat eating, so much sinful activity is going on, right? So even that position of the king is actually condemned. And it's not just condemned, like it's not just like some vegetarian, talking to, like nowadays, what we see, if some people tell other person to say why not to eat meat, they say, why will you eat meat? You are giving trouble to other person, or like actually human are not supposed to eat. What happens if your relatives are eaten by someone else, something like that. That is basic, definitely. That is also true to some extent. Like people may, and some people ask, actually science found that even the vegetables, grass, even the trees, they have some senses. What about killing them then? Like that. So actually, bhakti yoga or the science of devotional service is higher than this. Higher than this. Actually, like animals are not supposed to be killed. In not that sense, like they will be going through some pain. That is basic. We can give that reason, and we can prohibit ourselves from eating, but that is not the ultimate. That is not the ultimate. So why is it like here Nārada Muni, he is a Devarsi. Devarsi means sent amongst the demigods. So he has the supernatural power. He has power, mystic power, to see past, present, and future. So he has already seen this king Prachina Varishat performing so many sacrifices, and he has killed animals for so many animals, right? So he is showing by his mystic power all the animals he killed in the sky. That's why he is saying, look in the sky, see in the sky. See in the sky the animals that you killed. Without compassion and mercy in the sacrificial arena. And just adding one more thing about the sacrificial arena and sacrificing animals. In those days, when animals were killed, they were killed on the purpose of giving them better life. That is human life. Human life is best among the living entities, life of the living entities. So actually what used to happen is, when they used to be killed using the mantra, particular mantra, after killing, the body is dead, but the same animal, the soul, takes the form of a human in the next birth. Means after being killed, he gets another life, that will be human life. So Mahamsa, it is called Mahamsa sometimes. Mahamsa means eat me. Like that, you are allowed to eat me in the next life. That is like basically, now I am not able to control my senses on eating you. So in next life you can eat me. That means when we eat particular animals, we get the body of that animal in the next life. Because of simply not being able to maintain our humanity. To maintain, if we are not allowed, if we cannot become able to, proceed with the duties of human, then what is the point of being human, right? So Lord is so merciful. Whatever we desire, whatever we think we are capable of doing, He gives particular body. If we want to eat meat and we want to survive, then so there are so many animals that eat meat, right? Without any restriction. If you want to eat meat without restriction, then you will get particular life of the animal. Why human life? Just condemning it. We feel guilty at every time we eat meat, right? Every time we commit some sin, we feel guilty. Still, like we are doing so many times, so we get used to only. It's like that. So rather than feeling guilty, if you are some animal like tiger, or let's say dog, or other animals like, even dog actually they eat vegetarian normally. Yeah. And other animals like hyena, and vulture, will get one of those lives. See, no problem, we don't need to think, should I eat animal or not? Vulture doesn't need to think. He will just eat simply, right? So that is the benediction given by the Lord. And what happens is, when we see so many unearthas on us, unearthas means impurities in us, impurities, I'm not being able to do this, do that, like that. So, and normally what we do is, very hardly we try to restrict us. Very hardly we try to practice changing the life. What we do is, then if it was wrong, why the God made me like this? Right? And simply, if we see how we started becoming addicted to these activities, sinful activities, it is we performed once with guilt, twice with guilt, 10 times with little guilt. In 20th time, you don't feel guilt. That is how we, how we change. In the same way, it is similar in everything we do. Even if one is, used to with doing exercises, first day, there is pain. Second day, there is more pain. For first 5 days, there is pain. In 20th day, there is less pain. In 2 months, there is no pain at all. It becomes a duty. It becomes activities. Right? So in the same way, even when we keep on performing sins, it becomes the habit, like that. And it feels very normal, natural. So in that way, if we say why am I not being able to restrict myself? When I was born, my parents were already eating meat, so I just started eating, like that people say. Then why am I kept in that position? So that means he should be the person who should be blamed, right? We should put some blame on Krishna, because he is the one who is creating these all of us, our lives. But actual truth is, in the same way, the animal, the goat, was given the human body. In the same way, our soul, since we are not liberated, we are still in the material world, right? That means there are some subtle bodies with it. So the karma, when we talk about karma is not only this life. There are hundreds of lives that we have already spent. So all those karma from the last, past lives, they bring us tendency. It's not we have a tendency to commit some sin, right? We have the tendency. Even though we know, sometimes we are really able to control ourselves. But we know we have the tendency. Even if we don't want, actually, somehow or other we tend to do that, those things. So they come because we have done that in the past many times. We are, since we have done exercises for last 20 days, we have the tendency to do exercise again. Right? So if we want to, get perfection in something, we have to, if we perform the same, that particular thing, let's say if you want to get very good grade in exam, if you, you don't need to read, the whole year very, with so much energy. If you read for, first 1 month every day, then, you will be very used to with reading. You don't feel reading is so boring or, so difficult. No. In the same way, restricting ourselves is also easy. If we restrict ourselves for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, then after that, it becomes normal. Very easy. So that is what now Nārada Muni, why is he talking to the king? Because he wants to break. He wants to teach the king about the restriction. The kings, Vedic kings, not nowadays the leaders are very weak. They don't have sense control. Very easily they fall down. Even those leaders, nowadays, even this in this democracy, hardly they become leader for 4 years. And if we see, their past, they were criminals. They have so many history of committing crime, so much history. And they are the leaders. That means they don't have any ability to restrict themselves. They are not strong enough. But still, they are the leaders. But in the Vedic society, leaders were very strong. If they were taught this is wrong, they start from the same day to restrict themselves. And slowly and gradually, they develop new habit, and they become perfect in that. And they teach the same thing to the citizens. So, Nārada Muni, understanding the position of the king in the Vedic times, he is going there and having some compassion on him. Because whatever he learned from the past was not completely correct, even though it was from the Vedas, it was not completely correct. That is not the conclusion of Vedas. Like, if we see what I spoke in this class, I also talked about meat eating, right? So, the conclusion of the whole class will not be meat eating. It will be about how to perform devotional service to the Lord. So, in the Vedas also, in the same way, they were talking about so many things. And if we stick with something that came in the topic, so if we get caught with that and then we forget the essence, gone. The meaning, it's not meaningful at all. If we simply remember about meat eating in this class, then attending Bhagavatam class is not good at all. Rather we would rather stay at home and stay quiet. In the same way, in the Vedas also, it is just talked about it. It's not recommended. It's not like this is the essence of Vedas. Not like that. Some people make excuses. Like I'm talking about so many sins. Oh yeah, even that person in temple, he was talking about so many sins. So performing sin is okay. Like I'm not recommending it. I'm not giving the essence of it. Like it is the essence. I'm not saying that, right? In the same way, like people make the excuse like that. The Christians, they say Jesus said there is no soul in animals, so we can kill and eat. Everything, every living entity has the soul in it. And what does it take to change some so-called literatures? People are already unrestricted. No one can control it. They are changing the scripture itself. How can someone who says himself to be a son of the Lord, messenger of the Lord, talk about something against the nature? Not at all. See, that is how people are making like that. In the same way, like if we see, it's not like it is not only their problem, because sometimes we feel so helpless about ourselves. Like if we are not used to with restricting against the sin, it feels so normal. They are so helpless. They don't know about how to control their senses. They don't know even about the goal. When we don't know about the goal, what is the difference in doing this or that? Like, let's say we don't have a goal in the future to be better. Then, what is the difference between committing crime and not committing crime? I don't have any goal. I can kill someone and get into jail. What is the problem? Being in jail a problem? No, I don't have any goal in life. I can simply go and stay in jail. Who cares? Right? In the same way, we are engaged in all these unnecessary activities because we are not aware of our goals. We don't have the specific goal. So here Nārada Muni, since the 10 sons of Prachina Varisa, the king, they have already got perfection in devotional service, performing the penance and austerity and singing the Rudra Gita under the guidance of Lord Shiva, they got perfection. So, having the mercy upon the father as well, upon the king as well, now he is going to the king and he has started teaching him the essence of Vedas, the essence of devotional serving, performing devotional service. And simply by saying, go and do bhakti, that is not enough. We should say why what we are doing now is wrong. First of all, we need to understand that. Or not enough. We have to understand that. And then, what are the glories of performing devotional service? We have to understand that as well. Simply actually, if we see in South Asian countries, it is very natural to be a devotee. They don't know much about any philosophy, nothing like that. They know simply using the bell and doing some arati. They know, but they don't know the purpose, right? What is the real purpose? Never taught. Yeah, that is very good. What we did, but we should know the reason. Otherwise, someone comes and says, "What you are doing is all nonsense," then we feel guilty. Actually, nowadays, if someone in India, Nepal, in those countries, if someone is performing arti, they will be laughed at. They will be laughed at, and they feel guilty and they will stop doing it. People used to keep short hair. They used to shave. They used to keep sikha, but nowadays they don't keep. Why? It's not that they don't like. If someone keeps sikha, what they call? See, this guy has sikha. Everyone laughs at it. Yeah, they do. See, and the person who has kept sikha, he also doesn't know why he is keeping sikha. And now he thinks, yeah, I'm being laughed at, so I should stop doing this. He stops doing that. And see, now the transformation from being pious to impious, I will show you. Because if we don't have knowledge of every activities we do, we will be cheated by them, cheated by others. Like that, the one who used to have sikha, he started cutting sikha. Because he doesn't know why he should keep it, right? Not only that, now slowly, he would be said, oh, this guy only eats vegetarian. See, ghas khansa. In Nepali, they say like that, ghas khansa. Only he eats some grasses. You have to eat some meat. You have to be strong. Right? And people think, first, they don't accept it immediately. I know this, how it changes. They don't start eating immediately so bad, so, harshly. What happens is, they keep on saying this and, it feels like, oh yeah, why not eat actually, Why should I just eat vegetarian only? I can try eating meat. And then, one tries to start eating meat and, so many varieties they fry, and they make curry, so many different items, they try to release it. Because, and now, he doesn't eat at once everything. He eats once, do you eat meat? And he says, no, I eat once in a month, like that. He started with once in a month. And then once in a week, then every day, 3 times a day. So this is how people are, misled, cheated. If we don't have the knowledge, we are misguided at once. That is why we have to know the knowledge why we are doing. What we were taught in, back in the days is correct. If someone laughs at it, they don't have the knowledge. It's not like, we are doing wrong and they are knowing something better. If we don't have knowledge better, we don't have better reasons than them to do it, then we will be lost. If we have better reason, when they say, why not eat? When we say we are human beings, if we know that we are human beings, if we wanted to, live in life like that of an animal, we would get life of an animal. Why would we get the body of a human? If we say this, people will immediately, instead of them changing you, you will change them. Right? See how knowledge impacts, how knowledge makes difference. That's why we need to know the reason behind. Like that, here Nārada Muni started with, saying, without mercy you killed all those animals. He is showing. So first of all, he is bringing out the guilt. First of all, if we want to change from performing sinful activities to performing pious activities or becoming a devotee, we have to know the weaknesses in us. We have to know the sins that we are committing. And not only know, we have to feel guilty about it. We have to know they are wrong. So, normally we consider 4 things to be sinful, according to the Vedas and according to the restrictions we follow in Krishna consciousness. They are no meat eating. On eating meat, we have to feel guilt if it is wrong. And not only feeling, feeling will change. We have to know, we have to understand it. So we have to read about it. We have to read Prabhupada's book. We have to read, Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita. Only simply by reading Gita also is enough actually. We may not have much time. So, we can repeatedly read Gita and it will teach us. It's not like, something happens all of a sudden. When we understand, then only change, right? And another is, no intoxication. No intoxication means not consuming something that changes our normal state of mind. Like, drinking alcohol, maybe taking drugs, taking smoking. Smoking also changes the, because it is said, like, people get addicted to it, right? Addiction means it is changing, like, it is changing our normal situation, right? So we have to understand that is not my normal, and we have to have the desire to change. And then third is, no illicit sex. No illicit sex means not having the sexual relationship, physical relationship with someone, like, out of the basically extramarital affairs. And another is also, even with even on the marriage, like, the purpose of marriage is to beget a good son, good children. If we are not having enough knowledge, if we don't have enough piety, the children, they will get whatever nature we have, whatever our tendency is. Children also get the same tendency. So it's not like, I will say only the good things to the children, like they will not consume only the good things. Because, knowledge doesn't only transfer from speech, it transfers from the action. So if we keep on performing some activities, then, then the other people, like, etat acharati shreshthas, as, great people perform activities, normal, general people, they follow. Like that, so that is how we can, that's why, if we stop performing these things, then, children will understand we should not do that. Simply by, and so when we understand these things, then we will have the desire to change. We will have the desire to change. And fourth reality principle is no gambling. Regular, like, no gambling. Since gambling, one more thing is gambling. Gambling is like, it changes our consciousness. How it changes is, normally we may be, normal means normal, emotionally very stable. But when we are gambling, what happens is, it becomes like the goal. It catches our mind. Because we know what I am doing wrong, right? Like, sometimes we make some mistakes. And sometimes we have done mistake for someone. Let's say, like, I have stolen money from Prabhu. Whenever I see him, what I remember is, like, as soon as I see him, I remember the money. And I have stolen it, right? In the same way, gambling is similar. It catches the mind like that. As soon as I remember him as well, I remember the money only. Like that. Gambling is like that. It distracts us from the goal. And all these sinful activities, if we engage in them, we feel like this is all in all. If we keep on eating meat, we feel like eating meat is all in all, because we enjoy that. We start enjoying that. If we keep on performing illicit sex, we feel like, this is all in all. This is the, best thing in the world. There won't be anything better. If we feel, if we go to someone who is addicted to intoxications, he will say, this is the, you will have the best ever experience. Like, I have met so many people who say, like, you are young, please enjoy, like, the life, try to enjoy. You don't know, like, so you haven't actually experienced so many things that is available actually. Life has actually so many possibilities. They say as if, like, it is so great. Like that, because they are completely distracted from the goal. What will they say? And gambling is also same. It is complete, game of emotion. And we like the change in emotion. Human being, like, not only human being, any animals, any living entity, any soul, they like change in emotions. Even Krishna, he doesn't always, get served. Sometimes he likes serving as well. He doesn't like always being praised. He also likes sometimes being chastised. Like, in Damodar Lila, Mother Yashoda binded him. Why? Because he liked that. He desired that. He cried. He likes crying. Because we like so many changes in emotion. All these sinful activities, they give what do we call? They give, the spark of spiritual taste. As if it is the real taste. They are all the perverted sparks of spiritual taste. Spirituality, it is so variegated, it gives so much, variety of tastes that, all these, material tastes, they are already included and they are even higher. Not that we get the, same pleasure we get from intoxication in spirituality. No, not same. It is higher. It is higher. So if we get if we become millionaire, do we think of, earning $1,000? We will think of adding 1 more million, right? No one thinks of what should I do, how should I make $1,000 when he is a millionaire. When there is million, the $10,000, $100,000, all is already there. In the same way, in spiritual bliss, all these material happiness are already included. That is why we are guided to spirituality. So, understanding the position of the king, who is materially so attached, so attached in fruitive activities, purusarthas. Purusarthas means, actually purusartha means, Lord is also, Krishna is also called as Purusartha Murti, embodiment of Purusartha. Purusartha means in some benediction actually, but in these 4 benedictions, it is called material benedictions one can ask for. And they are dharma, artha, kama and moksha. So, first of all, what we do, what general people do, if they have any piety, if they have some knowledge about religious things, what they do is, they come to Gopinath, they give some donation, they fold their hands, may I make more money, and they live. That's it. That also is, to some extent good thing, because it is called dharma. That is, they are asking for fruitive activities, right? They are asking for some fruit for giving some donation to Gopinath. After that comes artha, because since they have performed some devotional service, some pious activity, giving donation to Gopinath, and they have asked for benediction, Gopinath will give some benediction. They will be materially prosperous now. They will gain some Lakshmi, they will have. And then what will they do? They will now, have the desire for sense gratification. They will make, big buildings. They will invest more for money. They may even, buy golds, wear them. And, naturally people, actually when one has, one is prosperous, they have natural tendency of getting involved in sinful activities. That is the tendency because of our, past karma. It's not like, one who has lots of money, he is not pious or he is not good at all. It's not that. Well, in the current reality of the world, we can see the most richest people are, the worst in, being engaged in sinful activities. They are so much engaged, in regular life. They are completely sinful. But, it doesn't mean actually, when there is some wealth, there is sin. It's not like that only. Because there can be devotional service using the same wealth. Because the wealth is Lakshmi, Mother Lakshmi, who is constantly engaged in the service of the Lord. Actually, it can be engaged in the, service of Lord as well. So after that, they engage in karma, satisfying their senses. And when they try to gratify their sense so much, and they don't get fulfilled, now they feel like oh, this is not all in all. I thought sense gratification is all in all. I thought intoxication is all in all. I thought sexual pleasure is all in all. I thought pleasure of eating meat is all in all. I thought gambling, pleasure of gambling is all in all. But no, it is not giving any pleasure to me anymore. When one comes to that stage, then one desires for liberation. So many people commit suicide. Why? Because they understand that happiness is not possible in this life. they understand this. That is true. Yes, we have to commit suicide, but we have to commit material suicide. Because we can change, we can take spirituality, right? As soon as we start devotional service, that is practically the suicide of material body. And getting our original position as a servant of the Lord. And we will start performing the devotional service. Yes, we should commit suicide, but not in the way, we don't have any way to, any way to progress. Because, if we just commit suicide of this body, we will get another body. What will you do now? How often will you commit suicide? How many lives will you spend committing suicide? Not possible. So when we have life, we have to use this life as if we don't have this material body. We have this material body, so there are so many material urges. But if we don't have this material body, there would not be material urges, right? Spiritual urges only, because the soul is completely spiritual. In the same way, we have to understand we are the spirit soul, and we have to get the desire to serve as spiritual soul, spirit soul. And when it comes to the activities of this body should be maintained only to the basic needs, to the extent of basic needs, and understanding this knowledge, this absolute knowledge given by Krishna in Gita, Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, and then applying this knowledge will be completely spiritual. So this is the knowledge that Nārada Muni is trying to give, but he is not speaking very directly, because when one speaks directly, like you are completely sinful and this is the only good, then people may think this guy is deriding me. So Nārada Muni, being the great Vaishnava, he is going through the stages, showing him what are the wrong things he did and what are the problems. And after 4 Purusarthas, there is the 5th Purusartha. 5th Purusartha is to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Understanding Supreme Personality of Godhead is possible only when one is engaged in the service, devotional service of the Lord. It is very easy to understand this thing, because if we want to understand someone, like if I want to understand Prabhu, then what I have to do? I have to go to him, talk to him. I have to observe his activities, right? What he is doing, how he is talking to me, I can understand him in that way. I can see how he is dealing with other devotees, other persons. Then I will understand who is he better, right? The more I observe him, more I understand him. In the same way, understanding the Lord is also similar. People may make excuses, I'm not being able to understand Lord. That means we are not having enough desire to understand them. See, we get married to the opposite gender. We focus so much on them before marriage. They completely understand them, right? If they can completely immerse in them, they even see in the dreams. They always think of them. If they can do that with people, if they want to understand some people, if they can do the same thing, if it is the only thing required to understand Krishna, why can't we do the same thing? Simply to please our so-called partners, we think of so many ideas, so many way of giving surprises, so many things, right? Give so many gifts we think of. Why don't we think similar things to Krishna? If we think in the same way with Krishna, we can very easily gain perfection. Very easily we can be devoted to Krishna. That is what Nārada Muni first talking about, our level of absorption, and he is trying to change the consciousness of the great king. Okay, so yeah, I think I will just end here. So in this way we can get devotional service and get absorbed in Krishna consciousness, getting the mercy of their Lordship, Sri Sri Radha Gopinath. Sri Sri Radha Gopinath Bhagwan ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande.